What's up, friends of YouTube? Derek Van Diest here with Zandam Music. In today's episode, I'm going to show you guys how to make a beat very fast. So let's get started. Okay, so first thing to note is if you guys want to make beats fast, you have to be organized. So for me, this is my starting template for rap and trap type beats. I start with a full drum kit consisting of a kick, a clap, a snare, a hi-hat, an open hat, a crash, and a perk sound. And obviously I'm going to add more to it or take out some of the elements as the beat progresses. But this is my basic start, the starting template that I use. So I also have an 808 ready to go as well. I don't have any instruments loaded up, and I don't have any pad sounds loaded up. I have a Razer effect, and I also have the beat tag that I use. So I also have some patterns already set up for me on the drum set, so I can just start programming the drums when I'm ready. And this is what's going to allow me to make a beat fast. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my browser, and I'm going to look for a sample that I like. And I'm a big fan of Nick Mira, so I'm going to use one of his samples. And I'm going to look through his packs, and I'm going to try to find one that I like. And we'll go on from there. So let's browse. Okay, I like this one. I'm a fan of melodic pianos. So what I'm going to do is I just click and drag it into the window. And as you can see here, it's called Bink, and it's at 136 BPM. So for this project, I'm actually going to be in 150, as you can see here in the tempo. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up an instance of my Hornet Song Key, which is an external plugin. So it's usually on my master track, so I can see what the tempo the whole beat is in. And I'm going to hit reset, and I'm going to play it one more time to see what beat it's in, or what key it's in. I'm going to turn on the metronome. Alright, so it's telling us we're in C minor. I'm going to experiment a little bit with this though. I'm going to darken it by right-clicking and transposing it down. For me, I usually start by transposing it down 6 and then tuning it up 6. And let's see how this sounds. Okay, so it's too dark. I'm going to bring it down 2 instead, and then I'm going to transpose it 2. Let's try that. Okay, that sounds better. I'm going to open up Hornet Song Key, reset, and see what key we're in right now. Alright, so we're pretty much there. Let's start with the drums now. So first sound I start with is the clap. So I'm going to program a clap right here. Bring down the clap sound. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to program a snare. So I'm going to double click on the snare that I already have set up here, and I'm going to program 32 steps this time. And I like the snare here, and I also want one here. But I don't like the snare, so I'm going to open up the snare and I'm going to switch to a different one by clicking next. Okay, one thing to note is that I'm using sample 1, and I have a sample pack with different drum sounds on here already. So all I have to do is click next here on the arrow to keep switching between sounds. And I have that for all the drum parts. I'm going to turn down the snare. I'm going to pan the snare to the left a little bit. And let's move on to the hi-hat. I'm going to switch it to 8 steps, and I'm going to start programming it. I'm going to do 16 actually. Actually, I'm going to do 32. Alright, so one cool feature for Studio One is we can have some repeats in there. So I'm going to add some repeated accents. Hold on a second. Let me bring down the volume because it's a little loud. I'm going to pan that to the right a little bit. And, you know what? I actually like the way it sounds. I'm going to add one here. That doesn't sound right. Okay, so I don't like the repeats for this beat. So I'm going to switch up a few notes here. Hi-hats are done. Let's go to the perk sound. And what kind of perk am I using? It's like a wood block. So I'm only gonna use it at the end here. Let's bring down the sound. Alright, so we're ready now for the 808. So I think it was E flat minor. So D sharp. Let's try D sharp. No. So I'm gonna go back to the Hornet song key here, and see what we're actually at G sharp minor. So G sharp minor. I'm gonna change the key down here to G sharp minor. I'm gonna go back to the 808 and start programming it in. Yep, that's right. Actually, it's not right. Okay, I think that's the start. Let's put it here. No. It's a little loud. I'm going to bring it down. So clearly that's not in key, so it's going to take a little time. This is probably the part that takes the longest. And it's just trial and error. That's basically what I'm doing. So I'm just trying to hear what sounds best for this beat. So I'm gonna have to program a second 808 pattern probably. But what's this one here? Let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, cool. So it works. We got the 808 pattern down, and let's go ahead and do an open hat. And I'm going to switch the steps to the 32. I don't like this hi-hat. I mean this open hat. Alright, that's better. I'm gonna pan that to the left a little bit. I'm gonna pan the perk to the right a little bit. and we basically have a beat down. So there's one beat idea. The next thing I would do is probably add a riser. I'm going to program it in here on the C key. I'm going to bring down the volume. And I don't like that riser, so I'm going to switch it up. I'm using the Razer VST. I'm going to pick one of the pitch rises. Let's try basic sweep. Hear what that sounds like. I don't like that one either, so I'm going to switch to a different one. I'm going to do a pitch rise. I don't like that one either. Okay, so it's going to take a little while because you know how it is when you're producing. You want to go through all these presets and see which one works best. Oh, cool. That sounds way better. All right, so we found one. That was quick. And that's it. We basically have a basic beat idea done here using a sample and a drum kit and an 808. Alright, so I'm going to do it again for you guys. I'm going to make a whole new beat and show you one more time how I did that, how you guys can do it in less than 10 minutes. So let's start all over. Let's remove that Bing thing and start a whole new beat. So I'm going to go into browse. I'm going to keep looking through his samples. Alright, I like this sample here, but we're going to go ahead, we're going to bring it down to 134 BPM and hear what that sounds like with the metronome on. Okay, I messed up. I'm going to go ahead and put it back in. So remove track. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Alt and I'm going to time shift this sample and make it a little bit slower by dragging it to 8 bars. Let's hear what that sounds like. I'm going to darken it by doing the same method. I'm going to transpose it down 4. I'm going to tune it up 4. And let's hear what that sounds like. I'm going to turn off the metronome and I'm going to program a clap. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift-P to start a new pattern. I'm going to click and drag that to the clap section. Click and drag it to 8 bars. And I'm going to double click and I'm just going to program the standard clap here on the C3. Let's hear what that sounds like. I'm switching it to the instrument bus just to give it a little reverb, because on my instrument bus channel I always start with reverb. As you can see from my older videos, I always show this information where I have my reverbs already set up to the bus channels. So this is sounding pretty nice. I'm gonna move straight onto the 808 actually, instead of the hi-hat, because I can already hear the 808 in my head. So let's hear what key we're in for this one. And at the same time, I'm going to hit Control-Shift-P to add a new pattern here to the 808. And drag it to 8 bars. So it looks like we're in F minor, so let's switch the key to F minor. And let's start programming in the 808. So 64 steps. And let's start with F. That sounds really nice. Alright, let's move on to the hi-hat. Whoops. So I'm going to hit Control-Shift-P for another pattern. Drag it out to 8 bars. that's right. I left all the panning the same for the last beat, which is pretty cool because I usually pan it the same for all my beats. So, you know what? I just realized I forgot to add a kick to that last beat I made. I totally forgot to add the kick and the crash as well. So we're gonna go ahead and do it for this beat. Let's add a kick now. So I'm gonna add a new pattern, Control-Shift-P. Change the steps to 64. Okay, so I just did it by ear to match the 808. There we go, we have the kick in. I'm gonna hit Control-Shift-P to add a snare. So a new pattern here for the snare. I'm gonna drag it to 8 bars. Double click, change the steps to 32, and I'm gonna program some snares. Snare sound, so I'm going to switch it. Alright, this is better. I'm trying to see here. I actually want to add a little bit of release on that snare. There we go. And sample one's great for this stuff because it has an amp section. You can add an LFO, but obviously I'm not going to do that for the snare. Perk sound. Whoops. Control-Shift-P. Change it to 64. And let's try a different perk sound. Oh, I like that one. Let's try this. In my head, and I'm going to try to recreate it here. So I'm going to switch the steps to 32. There we go. I'm going to turn it way down though. I'm going to try a different perk. Oh, I like this one more. Wow. It gives it some character. I don't want to add a crash to this. Actually, I do. So, Control-Shift-P. I'm going to do 64. Actually, I don't want a pattern for this one, so I'm just going to double click in that area to open up the keyboard section, and I'm going to click and drag it to 4 bars and then duplicate it. That way the crash can have a longer tail end. See? Let's bring down the volume. There we go. And that's it, we got a new track. So that's another beat idea there for you guys. And I'm actually going to save that because I really like this beat. So usually when I save, this is how I title my save files. Hold on a second, let me pause this. Alright, so I'll hit save as, and the way I title it, I'll think of something that, you know, brings back memories for this beat. So maybe I'm going to title it fast because I was doing this pretty fast. So this is the fast beat, and I'll hit underscore, and then I'll put in the key of the beat. So this is an F minor, so I'll put F minor, then I'll put another underscore, and then the tempo, which is 134. And that way I have all the information I need when I'm looking for either a beat in F minor or a beat in the 134 BPM. So the next thing I do is I'll go to my projects folder, and within my projects folder I have folders for the month and year. So since we're in June of 2018, I can just save it to my June 2018 folder, where I have many more beats that I created throughout the month. So I'm going to go ahead and save it there. And that's one way to keep organized when you're saving your files, because being organized is very important, guys, as you can tell from this video. The reason I was able to do it so fast, to make 2 beats in like basically 20 minutes, is because I was organized and I had everything already set to go before I started. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop the video there. You guys got the idea. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Hope you learned some new production skills. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you for joining me. Take care.